Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Still moving and grooving and feeling good, I guess.
Oh, yeah, just getting better and better.
Glad to hear it. I know you've been doing a little traveling, but nice to be back home. The Delta Blues Museum, you've been a benefactor and a supporter of that for many years, and there's a very nice exhibit on you that is there. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it in the last few months, but it is quite a nice little display.
Oh, well, I'm really honored and flattered and just totally knocked out to be in the museum. I love the museum and have loved it since the first day I found out about it, when it was over in the library and Sid Graves was running it. Shelley Ritter's done so much. It's exciting to see it evolving.
January 30th is the Delta Blues Museum's 38th birthday. They'll be celebrating all day long in a big reception that afternoon. All the people should be there and certainly should come by and see it. And we'll be sorry that you can't make it, but we're glad you'll be there in spirit with us.
Well, it's nice we have birthdays right next to each other. Mine's the 31st.
I'm aware of that. I'm sure that was not a coincidence. Another birthday that the museum always celebrates is John Lee Hooker's, and actually this year there's been some question about what year he was born maybe, but I guess the official version is 1917, so 2017 would be his centennial, and the Delta Blues Museum is celebrating kind of all year long. I want to chat with you a little bit about John Lee Hooker. Where did you first connect up with him? Was that in Chicago?
Yeah, it was in Chicago. He lived in Detroit, but he would come to Chicago fairly regularly to perform, and I'd keep track of things, and when I'd see he was coming to town, I'd make sure to go see him. And the first time I met him, we were just became immediate friends, like we'd known each other forever.
In fact, he was, I guess, best man when you and your wife got married.
That's true. He was. He became a real good, close friend, and all the way to the end. I
had a chance to talk with one of his daughters here a while back, and she said that he loved playing with Bonnie Raitt, probably one of his favorite performers. Would you kind of agree that Bonnie Raitt was one of his favorites?
Oh, yeah. They both loved each other and really clicked together musically and as friends, too.
What are some of your favorite memories of John Lee Hooker, apart from perhaps your wedding? What do you remember most about him, and what do you treasure the most?
Oh, gosh, there's so many wonderful memories. But one thing, he had a great sense of humor. He loved to laugh, loved a good joke. And even if you didn't know what was funny, if you heard John Lee laughing, you'd be laughing too, because he just was so full of joy. And he was also really kind and generous and just a real good friend. And his music, I mean, before I met him, I remember tuning into WLAC out of Nashville and XERF out of Ciudad de Coahuila, Mexico, back in the 50s in Memphis when I was a kid. And I'd hear him, his early recordings, he was mostly just playing guitar and tapping his foot. And that music coming out of that little radio in my room late at night left an impression on me. I've never heard anything like it before or since. He was one of a kind. His style of playing on guitar was really unique, and I still love it today.
Would you say that it was probably, I would think the 60s maybe, before the world really caught on in large measure as to how good he was and really appreciated his music? It was pretty late in his life before they figured it out.
Well, when I met him, he was still working the blues clubs and hadn't been really discovered by the white audience yet. I mean, obviously I knew him, but I wasn't most people. Later on, there was this folk movement, and he got into that. He started playing folk clubs as a solo act. That really was good for his image and spreading his name around. And he started recording albums like the Folk Blues of John Lee Hooker and stuff like that. And they were great albums, and I'm glad he got discovered in that way so that more people found out about him. And then he had the hits, like Boom Boom, and they crossed over, and so he would be touring with his own electric band, too. And I would often sit in with him. He'd call me up and say, I can't really imitate him that well. He'd say, come on down and help the old boy out. Speaking of imitations, he would do tremendous imitations of people. He had a real knack for imitating other people's way of talking. I hear he had a real good imitation of me, but he wouldn't do it in front of me. I never got to hear it. But I heard it's pretty hilarious.
Conversely, can you do an imitation of John Lee Hooker? I have to ask.
Not really. I'm not good at imitating. He would talk, stutter like that.
Do you think the artists today really appreciate and give him the recognition and the due that he deserves, or is he kind of maybe a little bit fading into the spotlight? Is he still as forefront today as the pioneer of the blues, the king of boogie that he was 30, 40 years ago?
Well, I don't really know what most people think. I never have. But I think his name is still well known. Of course, everybody fades and comes back up and fades again. And I like to think he will always be a big name and respected and looked up to. And people would go to listen to his music for inspiration and let his blues make you feel good, you know.
We're speaking with Charlie Musselwhite. Of course, his birthday, January 31st, the Delta Blues Museum's 38th birthday coming up on the 30th, just a day apart. Charlie, I know you don't get back to Clarksdale and to Mississippi maybe as often as you would like, but what's in the future for you? What are you working on? What projects are in your pipeline?
Well, I just finished a new album with Ben Harper. I know we'll be touring all of 2018 and probably 2019, so it'll be, I don't know, they're mixing it now.
Okay.
And I got a couple of movies coming out I'm in. There's one called Rebel on the Highway, which is a biker movie, and another one called Don't Shoot, I'm the Guitar Man, in which I play a convict. And it's a true story written, it was a book written by a friend of mine about his experiences teaching guitar in San Quentin. And then somebody decided to make a movie out of it. I'm not sure when that'll be out, but I think Rebel on the Highway will be out this summer.
Glad to hear you're keeping busy. And again, much continued success. Always a pleasure talking to you, our friend Charlie Musselwhite. Charlie, thank you.
My pleasure. Hope to see you in Clarksdale or somewhere down the road real soon.